but we have entered into picks and bans now. Immediately, the Corki is banned away. We're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Raz for this final game. As we get ready, he will join us afterwards. But that Corki stripped away from Godvi immediately.
Yeah, that's probably something that should happen. Godvi had an outstanding Corki performance in the second game. It's well respected now by IMA. Athena obviously noting that he wants to play against something else. Perhaps it is closer to that Ari.
But the follow-up is going to be that Malzahar from IMA. Disable PYL's point-and-click engage. Rengar going to be the standard ban from LGD. We'll have to see if they let this Camille go through or not. Whether they trust their ability to play against Amazing J if he decides to go for it.
Exactly. So LGD have a big choice. Obviously, they've made the right one, I would say. Getting rid of that champion, knowing that they're now on red side. So good adaptations once again by the red side LGD.
Banning that Camille away. Syndra is going to be the final one for Godvi. And that leaves LGD with the option of trying to pressure the jungle pool or perhaps leaving IMA to go for something a little bit more standard with their first pick.
I mean, LeBlanc is still there.
You're right. That
Athena,
LeBlanc is
very
there too.
good LeBlanc player.
Yeah, and they decide to pressure it out. So the final ban is going to be that LeBlanc, leaving IMA with a lot of strong picks still up.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll go for a first pick Ari. Let's expect something a little bit more standard. So Camille gone. Makes sense that IMA would actually go towards this as their first pick in the big tree, man. So by being able to lock him down, the question is, can Funny play these tanks? Or is he just a carry player? Because all we've seen from him is Camille.
Yeah, Camille twice now. It's time to show that he's got something else in the tank to deal with that Maokai. And right now it looks like they are going to prioritize that Elise for Amy. And interesting that they're picking it now in this phase instead of letting Amy pick it himself.
Yeah, noting that Kha'Zix is still available, and they performed well on that one. It's a scary option, honestly, to give anybody. So Kha'Zix is there, Lee Sin is there, Rek'Sai is there, and they still prioritize the Elise. And this is an early indication they want to pick comp.
Yeah, and now to get back to the question you just asked, can Funny play something other than tanks? We don't know. He's gone to a carry again.
Yeah, you really can't tell, Dom, as to what he can play besides carries. Fiora, interesting champion of choice. Knowing he's against the Maokai, can use the riposte on the Twisted Advance. The Twisted Advance is available far more often, especially as we hit the later stages of the game. It does say, again, pick comp, actually comboed now with Split Push. It's have to try and find some staple champions to round out their comp.
But the Lee Sin and Rise is going to follow it up. Athena, an absolute monster on that. And Ben 4, we've seen the Lee Sin before. This is going to be the third time now.
And it was banned away from him in the second game by LGD. So he's going to go back to his champion that works. Not always the best matchup into Elise. The Spiderlings can block your Sonic Wave. But if you can get through that, then trades are generally quite even.
In answer, Orianna is the mid lane pickup for Godvi. He's got pretty good engage on that Elise and Fiora to get in, but now we enter into the second phase of bans, and LGD are looking pretty strong.
There's a couple of scary things for LGD to deal with, though, on the opposite side of the rift. Athena getting his Rise back, Ben 4 getting his Lee Sin back, and Amazing J being on that big tank, which is his natural habitat, being a tank.
Yeah. Another thing that's a little interesting, both of the teams have completely ignored the bottom lane in these picks.
Which is where this ban phase is important.
Yeah. After how important that was in game number 1, which decided the game for IMA, and then in game number 2, which decided the game for LGD, they leave it for last.
And they're just going to ban each other out. It might even be Ashe Zyra banned by LGD, but it depends on what their priority is for the first pick. So if they want Caitlyn, they might just ban another AD carry like the Jhin and pick Caitlyn themselves, but then they'd leave open something like the Zyra that can fight back. It seemed fine against the Nami, so the Zyra, not exactly unexpected.
Yeah, Karma banned away. Is this going to be an AD carry or support targeting out Imp or PYL? We know Imp can go crazy on these carries if he gets the chance, and that Caitlyn is still up.
If I was Road, I'd go all in, commit to saying ban out PYL, get rid of something like Misfortune, and then just go Bard. But you know, Road, Tahm Kench is also available.
That Tahm Kench is up. But LGD will get first pick, so do I may let that go through down to the last second. And Caitlyn is the ban.
Yeah, so we saw, you know, by banning two supports, by banning the Zyra, LGD indicated they wanted priority on that AD carry option. Imp might actually even default to a Twitch if they can get themselves a staple AD carry. It is Imp, And so that's just not surprising if he
Yeah.
even looks at the champion briefly. But I think priority could actually be on support role here, unless they want to take something from Jin Zhao.
Yeah, you can see them speaking quite heatedly about that pick, but it is going to be Misfortune locked in for LGD. I asked Frost yesterday if you can take Misfortune AD carry. Generally, she informed me that's not going to be great.
But you can.
You can, yes. It's an option. And this is LGD, after all.
Yeah, no, they could probably find a way to put an AP Misfortune mid with the comp they have at the moment, somehow.
Well, looks like that Misfortune probably going to be going for PYL, as Jin Zhao going to take that Jin in the AD carry role, and Road looking to take that Thresh away from PYL, what he took in game number 1. Similarly, that works very well with Lee Sin, and we've known Ben 4 and Road's propensity to roam together.
And I personally think the Thresh is okay. I would also even consider Morgana. I actually just think that she's a really good support at the moment. This as well. The reason that I say it is disengage options. So Orianna Shockwave, you can Black Shield it. Fiora trying to kill somebody, you can keep them alive. Use the blinding perhaps, just stop them from getting on top of him. As honestly, he'll probably lock this. It might be a troll, but he probably will.
Kog'Maw, you can see them talking about it, and
he's still playing it. I think he's one of the only AD carries that's still playing it. I expect the Twitch still. But
whoa!
Look, it is Imp.
Okay, alrighty, Imp. I still think one of the coolest highlights from when I saw Imp was when he was going head-on-head with Deft in the, or head-to-head on Deft with EDG versus LGD
Jinx
semifinals, Kog'Maw versus Jinx.
Yeah.
And that was back when Kog'Maw still had the crazy attack speed.
Yes, and now what has happened is they've changed Kog'Maw back to the old Kog'Maw that doesn't have the attack speed bonuses, doesn't actually break the attack speed limit, and now is not even getting an auto attack reset when he presses W. It's harder to work around, but once you play enough of him and get a feel for what the new Kog'Maw does,
yeah,
it's actually still quite good.
Taking a look at Aime's composition, however, this is a very strong champ select. They've got Maokai, Lee Sin, and Tom Kent for Road and Ben 4. Self-sufficient mid lane, self-sufficient AD carry. Seems like Aime are feeling pretty great about this.
Yeah, and Frostgrown's alluded towards this before. The players are playing their main champions. There's a team fighting composition from Aime. LGD also doing a similar thing. With the exception of Funny, we just don't know what he actually plays. It seems to be carries in the top lane. But Kog'Maw Misfortune as a bottom lane. PYL has been playing a lot of Misfortune in solo queue and Malzahar, which is why it's consistently taken away from him. I may have banned it in every respective game. This is a pretty scary team composition for both of them. But if I may get ahead, as you mentioned, with the tanks that they've got available, then they could run away with it.
They certainly could. It's up to LGD to prevent that from happening. They've got emergency late game scaling on that Kog'Maw and Orianna, not to mention a Fiora, but it's going to be very difficult because we've seen what Aime can do with a composition like this as we get ready. The first 2 games were decided within about 5 to 10 minutes. Will we get as explosive a start here in game number 3? Aime looking to retain hold on first place, LGD looking to claim their first win.
Of course, we're going down the team compositions for both of these teams. We said that they're on comfort champions. I still give the edge to Aime because they have a team composition, not just comfort champions. To compare this to LGD, they do look like a strong team. Individually, their champions they're going to excel on them. But a Misfortune Kog'Maw bottom lane doesn't actually scream protect the puppy in any way. In fact, Kog'Maw's going to be a lone reindeer, trying his absolute hardest to kill everybody while they all run at him.
And I feel like that's always been the question about LGD. They are a very talented team full of very talented players, but they don't always play like a team. It's time to show now that they can do that, because you certainly know Aime are playing at the top of their game as a team.
And one thing we need to immediately hit before we even see the junglers start, Amy is the only member of LGD, barring a Shockwave, that has crowd control that is considered hard CC. They have a cocoon. They legitimately have a cocoon.
I mean, Funny has Riposte if he absorbs some crowd control with it.
Yeah, but he's designed to split push, and this is what I'm saying as well. Somehow, they're going to run a 1-4 composition, utilizing a Kog'Maw Misfortune bottom lane. It's just a bit unusual. abstract.
Well, we've been saying it all night. It is IMA. If anyone's going to do it, they are. Excuse me, LGD. Sorry. It is LGD.
It's just, like, if they do, they have no right to actually do it. But that's just what makes LGD so special.
Truly the D20 of LPL teams.
And no hard CC against the Tahm Kench is kind of funny because it's just a Shockwave or a Cocoon that is priority. He's got a really easy job now, Road. Just be a Battletoad.
You know that I may have it in stock. Alrighty. First push advantage is going to go in favor of LGD as they look to get level 2 first. Though they do have to be a little bit cautious. In the mid lane, Godvi and Athena trading it out. Junglers both started topside and went for a standard clear. They're going to finish off with their buffs at about the same time.
Slight edge for the Elise as you're watching it, but Ben will use his smite to catch up. So now we look at where they progress from this point. Raptors are still good on 7.1 and beyond, but Elise is prioritizing them in the top side of the map.
Yeah, might be looking for a very aggressive play onto Amazing J early.
Athena just hard pushed in and recalled. He started with a mana crystal, so he should actually have enough for a tier.
Yeah, Amy's actually heading up towards the top lane, using Amazing J's propensity to go aggressive early on. But he's playing back right now, staying back from the minions. Flash! Ooh!
Good flash, though.
Reaction dodges the Cocoon.
Yeah, Amazing J being able to get out of that one alive doesn't mean he'll win lane any further. He doesn't actually have the ability to survive if Elise does come back. But by staying alive, he's already acknowledged the game plan that LGD have, and will now have to react accordingly.
Yeah, Ben 4 immediately invades, seeing that Elise on the top side of the map. Not going to be able to take too much outside of the Gromp, but Amy should be rather happy.
No, LGD are going to stop him from getting
They're actually going
the
to fight him here. Ward from Imp on the far side, just to keep an eye on it. He's got to be careful not to tank the damage himself now that Road shows up.
Gromp wins this battle. They will still take it, so a long enough time has gone past, which LGD do need to go back to their lane and get the minions and collect those, as these two.
Yeah, funny. Oh, gets in range. Oh, doesn't proc the next Vital, though, and Amazing J not having a great time there. Athena, as you said, returned to lane with that tier. Godvi also got a recall as well and was able to pick up a second ring.
Athena is absurdly good at Rise. You can just see the way he's actually controlling the minion waves and doing damage to Godvi the entire time.
Trading back and forth and keeping Godvi locked down. Definitely going to be very important, as Godvi can be huge.
This is constant recalling. They're fighting the minion waves and not each other.
In the bottom lane?
In the bottom lane and the middle lane. They've just consistently recalled. Amazing J as well did the exact same thing. He's at risk of dying here.
Oh, he spots Amy out, but might be too little too late. Oh. Meanwhile, Snare finds Godvi under turret.
That was Summoner's use, though.
Mm-hmm.
As Road decided he was a jungler.
I feel like we've seen this happen before. LGD, they're playing the map right now. Or excuse me, both LGD and IMA are playing the map right now. Road going for the early roams. We haven't seen too much outside of the invade from Ben 4, but Amy has ganked top twice now.
And the thing we have to actually highlight is it's not necessarily even strategic for the most part. Amy going top is, but Road being here is opportunistic instead. They're just taking opportunities because they're controlling minion waves. There's now Ben 4 having a crack.
Yeah, Amazing J getting very aggressive, and Amy's immediately like, something's off. We can't do this. And dashes back, going to use the opportunity to refill that corrupting potion and start working towards a bit more. Road is the mid laner.
Yeah.
All right.
He's having a great time collecting those minions.
Look at all this experience that he's getting. Oof.
And then Jin Zhao's just question mark pinging every bush. Now Misfortune's mid. We have really just meta shifted, haven't we?
Yeah. Double support mid lane. Okay. Imp is left on his own with Jin Zhao. He's down just a handful of CS. Ben 4 waiting on the top side of the map. Amy.
They know.
Yeah. Was looking for a gank, but didn't find it. Oh, you can hop into the brush there.
Yes.
Ben 4.
So Ben saw the ward go down, and he knows that Fiora's in lane, so it has to be Amy. He's hanging around expecting that he'll counter gank, but he's also just explicitly hanging around so that he can keep Amazing J alive, and he's about to walk onto a ward, unfortunately. if he continues to pursue that lane. And it's time wasted, which is where these supports are suddenly becoming mid laners and roaming around the map because they're trying to make the difference. And that's why this is opportunistic, whereas the junglers are being strategic.
LGD now matching Aimee in this game. Game 1 was decided in 3 minutes. Game 2 decided in 7. So far, it looks like this is the closest match we've had of the two yet. This could be the true test. Can LGD live up to the skill that we expect of their players? Or can the team play of Aimee demonstrate that they're ready to take the LPL on in Storm?
Yeah, and they're not even playing with reservations exactly for a Game 3. They are starting to pressure each other. They're looking for things to happen. It's just that nobody's found it yet. And it feels like a disconnected game, you know? Like it feels messy.
Still very early on. Imp continuing to farm up, going for the Vamp Scepter first. As Road just going to take a little bit of harass here. He's got the gray health, however. Plenty of time. Not seeing too many big differences open up across the map. Slight CS advantage for Amy, as he was topside most of the time, which means he's got more Krugs and Raptors than Ben4, so still very even.
One interesting shift to note as well is that Misfortune being dragged around the map compensating for the Tahm Kench means that bottom's in a 1v1 scenario as Athena is secretly available to get in there.
Yeah, he had the Realm Warp, wasn't spotted out, but thought he might have been. So just going to play it back as Funny continues to try to farm this out. PYL and Imp go for a quick roam, trying to control the river as Godv gets gifted blue. That Mountain Drake, going to be very high priority for both of these teams. They have a lot of potential for late game big neutral buffs. They're certainly going to want it.
Just kind of trading. Ben and Amy are struggling to actually get anything achieved on the map. All they got was a single flash on the top side. They're just waiting for something to crack. Everyone's being
probing for weaknesses, but not yet finding any.
They are all being quite mentally strong, very vigilant.
Yes,
Athena
constant.
likes recalling so much that he'll never get ganked.
I think that's like his 4th recall already in 9 minutes. He's still even in CS, however, and hasn't used his Realm Warp to get back into the lane, so he's managing the minion waves well.
But that's what I mean. It's like a strategy you can implement as a top laner most of the time. It's harder to do mid.
Oh, Amy chickens out, doesn't have his smite, and Ben4 just going to clear away that Scuttle Crab. It's 90 seconds of vision now for Aimee on that side, and Ben4 is getting some vision on the deep side.
That is a wasted ward, though. There's no blue buff in sight, and that will not spot anything apart from Amy. So he's just looking aggressively to find the Elise, not to actually go for an objective as Ryze is top.
Yeah, there goes the Realm Warp. Flash Snare. He already used the riposte. Funny is almost certainly dead here, and first blood goes to Aimee.
And Athena is making it happen. He is actually the one rotating as best he can. Ben4's taking a shot at being a mid laner. This is the danger point. And Athena, being a respectful mid laner, is trying his best not to die. Really clever play. Aimee making it work.
That is the first kill. Can they expand it into more?
Still hanging out. Amy definitely looking. There's actually a teleport also in the tri-bush that shouldn't be spotted.
Oh, the sapling slows Funny on the way out of the teleport.
Oh yeah, so the sapling sees the teleport. I'm confused with Amy at the moment.
In trying to sneak top?
He's just like, he's spending a lot of time and resources to try and make something happen. Not necessarily in the place where he wants to make it happen, but in the place where he needs to make it happen, right? Like they've drafted themselves into this hole where they need to get top lane ahead. But they've actually got amazing Jay ahead because Athena is roaming better than both junglers. Which is where this game's starting to really unfurl.
Athena has been playing like an absolute champion these past few days.
Oh, that was a shockwave.
Ooh. Whoops. Fat finger.
Tragedy.
Yeah. It was a zoning shockwave. Sending a
Yeah,
message.
it was.
You take my control ward. Ooh! Ben4 gets in and then right back out over the wall. As Amy is going to finish off that wolf.
That shockwave being down though, with a minute until blue buff is up. I have expectations of them looking for the blue buff perhaps into the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, they know Funny doesn't have his teleport, and Amazing J walked back to lane with his. Realm Warp is back up for Athena, and Ben4 also has his Dragon Kick.
Yeah, which again comes back to the importance of the Mountain Drake we've alluded towards. We'll see if they actually place vision and things around it.
Yeah, LGD's
He's looking top again.
LGD have set up a few wards. Athena, as you said, looking top, doesn't find it. Going for the cooldown boots, as is standard on Rise.
But the timing of it is the important part. Blue buff has just spawned. Perhaps they ping that he's at the blue buff, but really he's already ganking top lane. Trying to beat the tempo.
And take a look at Amazing J, again roaming down towards, ooh, Amy is caught. Cocoon goes wide, flash kick into the wall. Ben4 is locked against the wall, and Road brings him back in. Athena goes to catch up. That's Exhaust and Flash from Godby. Bullet time is going to force the disengage as 4 members of IMA are unable to get it. Curtain Call finds him. He sidesteps one and flashes the wall to escape with his life.
Don't take that one, Ben, please. That was one of the weirdest trades that I think I have seen. Maokai being down here should mean a free Drake. It's on a ward, though, and they know there's no Maokai. But they can't get there.
Yeah, there's nothing LGD can do to contest it, despite Ben4 completely whiffing his smite.
No, Godby does have his ult again.
Oh,
And he doesn't have his ult again.
Yeah. So fast to react, is going to dodge that shockwave, and IMA are playing sharp. We've seen Amazing J on reaction, flash dodge a Cocoon, Ben4 flash dodging a shockwave.
It's not a big deal, but Wayless going for the QW, so attack dissonance into ult, slows down the ultimate. That's twice he's done it, and it doesn't actually work out the best for them, as you can see in the results of his hit rate on that shockwave. And the resounding 0.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, Funny did get some pressure onto the top tier 2, but didn't have a minion wave to help him push, so that only led to a 6 CS advantage, though he has finished off that Black Cleaver. Even in CS, in that mid lane, as Godby finally makes his way back, and Imp also just about even in CS with Jin Zhao. The blue has respawned. You mentioned it earlier, plenty of vision for IMA, and it's cleaned right up.
They didn't give him a way out. Athena left, so he had to waste the ward on it. Where's the communication? In saying that, a blue buff, pretty good communication to take away from Godby. Most importantly, taking it from an Orianna, not just the player that is Godby. Denying him that means that lane pressure and control should be absolutely in favor of Athena, and he's now level 11 with both summoners almost available. And so this means that he can push lane with his blue advantage and disappear. And this is what separated the winning from losing teams in LGD versus IMA games 1 and 2. Oh, that's big.
Oh, ouch! And the Deathfire touch. Yeah, taking a look, it is still fairly even. 1,000 gold in favor of IMA from that first blood and minor advantages that they've been able to accrue, but Athena.
You can see him moving around constantly. Godby has to recall. And so he's playing his timings perfectly. He is actually the star of the team at the moment.
While 2 days ago it might have been Road and Ben4 who were really stepping up, Athena has been having excellent performances. And is continuing to show that he can do it, even when down to a best-of-1 situation. Amazing J going to eat some damage here. This is the Vital again. Immediately Amazing J turns it around. That's a challenge as Amy is caught in his own jungle flash and the Cocoon goes wide, but they could still head top. Amazing J kites it out and Funny has got to retreat. Flash, engage! They're going to try to turn it around. Amazing J is taking damage from the minions, but he heals himself back up. Athena's ready and there's no flash for Funny. Ooh, dodges one, but you can't dodge a point and click. Athena's going to clean this up. That's another one, 2-0, and they're going to look to take the first turret of the game. But LGD are going to try and trade back with 2 of their own. Top tier 1 goes down, but mid tier 1 is soon to follow. Imp is working on the bottom to try to get it more in their favor, bring it back a little bit closer to even, but he just doesn't do enough damage with that Blade of the Ruined King.
He has a lot of attack speed, but as you mentioned, the damage isn't actually there yet. So IMA are going to continue to push the top side of the map with Road placing vision and zoning LGD off. They won't get it, but they will do a lot of damage, and that damage will not regenerate. And so this is still positive movements once again, except for this one.
PYL tried to get aggressive with Imp onto Jin Zhao, but it's Imp who is left regretting these decisions. Oh, that 4th bullet. was a strong one.
No flash for him, so there was definitely no survival there. And that was really good, actually, synergy with Amazing J. And Jin Zhao saving the smash for the crit bullet to ensure that he couldn't actually juke it no matter what.
Now 17 minutes in, it's Aime slowly starting to open up the lead as LGD are starting to show some weaknesses in remarkably an unexpected lane. It's Godfrey's weaknesses that are enabling Athena to do some amazing things. As Aime pressure the bottom tier 1, teleport being used by Funny to defend it. Road is going to pick up Amazing J and try to get out of there. Riposte is going to catch Amazing J and lock him down, but Funny has to back out as they're doing so much damage.
Here.
Yeah, he ghosts in. He's got the shockwave, tosses it out to zone. That's repelled to try to get in there, but Amy's dropping down, and Aime are almost winning this. Athena gets in, and Athena looks like he wants to clean this up. The exhaust was already used, and Godby is separated from his team. Imp has respawned, but is in the mid lane, and that is Aime winning the fight. Kick from the back, following it up for the highlight finish. 7-2, Aime.
And in the battle of the mid laners, it just feels like Athena does more. The rest of the team, Road, dodging so many spells, keeping himself alive for long enough that Orianna could not hit that massive shockwave on multiple members. He tries, but he doesn't get it. And it just does not feel like LGD have what it takes. PYL doing this flash right now comes to hurt him. He had no reason to stay against the Jhin and a Maokai, especially after the sapling connected. And watch how Road actually plays this, because he takes so much damage at the start of the fight. His priority is to get 3 stacks on Funny, so Funny has to respect the Tahm Kench eat. And watch how he dodges Godby. So gets the exhaust, has it ready. Knows that it's going to hit him now, and so he doesn't get hit by the shockwave. And because he lives for that long, Amazing J and Athena able to do all of this damage. And honestly, the Maokai's ahead. This is a Fiora that should be split pushing, but she has to team fight, and I may have a better team fight.
Now, 18 minutes in, it's 4,000 gold in favor of Aime. We haven't seen any effectively cataclysmic swings in either of these teams' games so far, so currently the projection is in their favor. But Aime are playing so well, and LGD just find themselves at a loss to dealing with this Aime roster.
And this team would be a lot better if Ben 4 was rotating quicker. That's the only major thing that's been missing in this series. A standout first series. This time he's slow to the mark. Of course, when his team wins without him, he is able to come in, lock it down, and kick people to finish off team fights.
So then what can we expect from LGD to try to bring it back to close this series out and look to take a win? As Godby flashes the snare.
That's a lot of respect actually paid. We need LGD to just hold on for dear life. They actually need a Ravenous Hydra, I would imagine, from Funny. He's just going to lose until he has it. He went for Black Cleaver. Going for Black Cleaver indicates he wants the team fight. But then they didn't draft for that, as we mentioned.
Ooh, they're going to continue chasing. Ben 4 completely whiffs that one. Let's put that one in the highlight reel as well.
It was a 50-50. You have to expect that someone will juke. Good players usually do.
Yeah.
Better players expect you to aim for that juke. Doesn't connect.
Yeah, but that
himself.
That's LGD using the window to secure their own red buff, but Aime return to the strategy that works. Athena's pressuring bottom. He can 1v1 just about anyone. And Jin Zhao's back in the mid lane with the very mobile Ben 4 and Road swapping back and forth between those side lanes. First bullet is going to hit. Athena's on the side. Amy tanks the fourth one. That is a deep teleport. Where is he going?
I don't think he even knows where he's going.
He's going with Athena. What? Imp is the target and does not stand a chance. That poor reindeer actually will flash and survive as Athena doesn't follow up with enough damage. Oh, Amazing J dodges with a quick snare and is able to walk away with his life, but only because LGD allow it.
That is so unusual. That was not on purpose. There's just no way. He teleported and was like, all right, who can we actually benefit hitting from this? And Athena locks it down. Like, Athena's doing everything.
Yeah, it seems like Aime are trying to accelerate the pace of this game as Road gets pulled back. Riposte is used a little bit early. The snare catches Amy for the damage, but not the slow. And Athena's continuing to pressure on that side lane, keeping Imp away from the minions while he's slowly working on the turret.
He will double kill them if he's allowed.
He's certainly going to be trying. There goes the bullet time. The auto attacks. Ooh, flash! The ricochet is not enough, and Athena will just recall. Road is right there, and Imp is level 11.
And that's the big thing we have to actually hit. So we haven't touched on it yet, but Imp is still playing Kog'Maw. And if there's one man in the LPL that you'd want playing Kog'Maw, it's not Deft because he left, it's Imp. And that guy will actually be able to solo carry an entire game if you get him to 3 items. But he's not exactly at that mark just yet.
Continuing to farm up and catch those minions. At 200 CS right now, fairly on track. Ben 4
They're
is
banking on a Tahm
the
Kench and
hunt.
Rise ultis to get there if they
He
get the
hops.
kick.
Yeah, he hops forward. There goes Tahm Kench, kicked into the wall, and there's nowhere for him to go. He used his flash early, doesn't kill Ben 4 because of the exhaust from Road, getting that damage reduction and keeping his jungler alive. It's 8-2 right now, and IMA are accelerating this game more and more.
And that's the thing, if Imp had items, there's a chance he gets kills onto the squishy members of the team, but Lee Sin's going to get armor. He's going to start to scale up in how tanky he is. It's going to be a Maokai and a Lee Sin running at him. He can't go near Athena because he will get completely destroyed. They don't have anything to protect him besides Orianna. Orianna's job is not actually to protect him, but it feels like that's his new purpose.
They're trying to defend this mid-tier 1 right now as Athena works on it. Slowly but surely, IMA are pressing forward. All of the tier 1s have been taken, but for this mid one, and IMA are prepped and ready. Next Drake is going to be another mountain. You know IMA have got their eyes on that dragon timer. LGD trying to clear out this vision and slow the pace of the game down, but IMA are just so darn fast.
Yeah, the next major objective should definitely be that mountain Drake that you mentioned. They can still threaten a Baron, or just do this.
Ooh. Ah, BYL is going to survive. Godvi body blocks that Sonic Wave, but that is support recall.
Yeah, they're both just going to go back to base. Ben 4 is rinsing and repeating the exact same thing over and over.
Find someone, kick him, get damage on a turret. Athena's now swapped to the top lane as Jin Chao eats a cocoon and just gets taken right away by Road. Oh boy.
Jin Chao doesn't use the curtain call, values it for when the team is grouping. Godby is now going to die to a Maokai.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
He doesn't have a flash. Road is there as well. There's the curtain call. And Ben 4 wants to be part of the team. Is he helping? Guys, I'm helping, right?
He's totally helping. Now I may get another kill. Godby out of position this time. They're taking turns, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The rinse and repeat style that we're seeing from them is going to come back to bite them because their team composition doesn't let them do anything. They're playing like their team comp doesn't let them do anything.
Yeah, the bottom tier 2 falls, the mid tier 1 falls. Mountain Drake is up in 40 seconds. Ben 4 has got his kick up again, so you know he's looking for a kill. Meanwhile, Funny is split pushing on the other side of the map. That's a 5-man recall.
Look at the health of that turret,
of
though.
IMA.
Like, it's going to take him a while. It will die. Maybe not even this wave, though, unless the next one crashes, so he'll get a turret.
He's working on it.
That's it. He's done something for the team, which is fantastic. But the Drake's up in 10 seconds. Maokai has his teleport. And Funny has to recall first. Like, Ben 4 can just walk straight into the pit and do it.
9-2 right now. And IMA are in control of this. LGD have got scaling, but slowly but surely they are falling further and further behind as IMA are taking step after step.
I wonder
to
if
get closer to the
that's
next.
going to be the Wits End Kog'Maw build. Where else would he go with 2 daggers besides a Phantom Dance? Or a Rapid Fire Cannon?
Tough set.
It feels like because he's gone the Blade of the Launching Hurricane, he might be the on-hit build. You never really know with him.
Ooh, Amazing J eats a cocoon and he's forced to flash as LGD try to force a fight, but IMA simply back away. Meanwhile, IMA are fighting on the other side. Funny is the target, and he goes down.
And now they have to deal with the bottom side of the map. 3 members pushing. They can actually siege if LGD don't respond. And when they do respond, you have expectations that the Lee Sin and the Maokai would be pushing mid and or using that teleport threat to help them out.
Yeah, finally, LGD make their way over there, but that's half the damage on that turret.
And Imp's going to lose so much health.
Ooh. 4th bullet finds Imp. Athena
Oh!
follows up, flashes for the kill, and then carried away by Road, who's going to take some damage. actually sidesteps the Acathian surprise, but the mid-tier 2 has since fallen, and Aime are pressuring multiple lanes at once now. Slowly but surely, LGD are cracking under the constant pressure of Aime.
And Ben still has his kick, so they're definitely going to go for this.
There goes the Realm Warp. Athena finds his way into the back. That's kicked right on top of a freshly arrived Athena. Aime might be looking to end this series right here and now. As 5, they continue to pressure forward. Athena follows it up for a double kill. Amy's zoned away. Funny is the only one surviving aside from him. The inhibitor falls. Aime continue to press forward.
They're looking towards ending this game, Dom. It feels like they have what it takes to complete this.
The first Nexus turret falls. The second one is taking a lot of damage. The minions have been cleared, but Amazing J is very tanky. They're trying to kite this out around Funny. Imp has respawned and is going to do a lot of damage, trying to clean it up. Amy gets one. They're going to continue chasing. Amy takes a big crit and is forced to back away. And Athena cannot follow up. Not even the snare is going to follow it up. That deadly flourish, that captive audience.
They don't get to end the game just yet. You're starting to see the makings of what Imp can actually do to a team if left unattended. But that's just a massive fight at the end of the day for Aime. The fact they get that inhibitor, Athena is just popping off something fierce. And only 2 members of the team have died, and it's their bottom lane, 13-3.
There are pings now going down onto the Baron from Aime. LGD have got some vision in the area, though Imp is getting a recall.
It's the perfect objective to take. They get the bottom lane inhibitor. It's the furthest distance away. Now, Funny does have teleport and Amazing J does not. So my expectation is a lot less baiting and a lot more doing when it comes to the Baron buff himself.
Yeah.
They just need to wait for Scuttle to dissipate.
They should see Imp on the other side of the map.
Yeah, well, that's the go bud.
And he's clearing out those super minions. Recall even going to be completed. Seems like Aime are just setting up vision.
And if Imp stays for the next wave, they've got a Tahm Kench and a Rise ultimate. So they could immediately just go for kills instead of the Baron. Make that pick with the numbers advantage when the bulk of the damage from LGD is missing. And then do the Baron and end the game.
Seems like Aime might be trying to end the game here. Oh, Realm Warp over the wall. Yep, very stylish. As the Baron is started, again, they've got double Mountain. Amy, this is going to be a hero steal if he can go for it, but not if he dies first. Is going to try to run away from the pit. Bullet time does enough, but Athena secures it. Amy has died. Amazing J is going to go down, but his GA is popped. Shockwave only finds Road as they continue to chase forward, and Aime clean it up. 4 members dead. Funny, not a sight to be seen as LGD will fall, and Aime are now 2-0 in the LPL as they're going to win game number 3 over LGD.
Fantastic performance from Aime. The Baron buff and Funny to go with it. Should be enough to actually get them over the line here. That is a good turnaround when you look at game 3 from Aime.
Yeah, finally the ace and the Nexus falls. Aime, we talked about a gut check. Seems like they have shown, hey, we can come back in a series. Joining us once again on the desk, however, is going to be Raz in that 30-minute win. Again, Aime demonstrate that they are the team to beat right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Aime showcasing a lot, but Rusty, you put it best. Athena's a god right here.
It was legitimately the Athena show, right?
Yeah.
Like, the junglers were 0-0-0 for how long into that game, but the Rise was controlling Wayless as well of all mid laners. Like, Athena was controlling Wayless and rotating. I think what we have learnt from this game, and from the first one actually, is that he should just not get Rise. Athena should not be allowed to have that champion in any way.
I mean, even that Cassiopeia that we saw in his series earlier this week just demonstrated Athena's playing on the top of his game. And not only that, the rest of his team is playing around that.
He's growing, and he's growing around with his team. That's the big point for me. And I think Athena is doing quite well for himself. I mean, that's an obvious point, right? But against Wayless, he's performing so well. Wayless had a few poor ultis, and we're going to take a look at this graph here.
Yeah, a 14,000 gold lead by the end of it. They did drop 2 turrets, so it wasn't a perfect game, but the kills really say it all. 18-3.
Yeah, that was an absolute smashing by the end of it. And it was a little bit slow out of the gates when you look at how these teams started, and it was slow, cautious. You know, it was a third game. They were trying to make plays, but they weren't over-committing to anything. They weren't overzealous and dying. And then they actually hit it, and they hit the ground running, I mean.
It's fun to see, especially between both of these teams. LGD didn't play that poorly overall. I mean, technically they did. Athena really did. Once he got the lead, it didn't let go. But
Amy was invisible, Raz.
Mhm.
Amy was legitimately invisible on Summoner's Rift in
He
that
did
game.
try to look for some of those early ganks, but just wasn't able to do anything with them.
That's the thing with both of these junglers. They tried really hard to make it to get it going on their own, especially since they tried so hard to. This is the first time I've actually seen a hard carry in Fiora going up against the Maokai. Like, a lot of the times we see passive tank on tank, kind of like a Nautilus or something up against the Maokai, or maybe even a Poppy for it. But you put in a question about that tank play. We're not seeing it. This is the first time. I mean, Camille is understandable. If it's going to get let through, pick it up. But Fiora?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of questions to ask about this one when it comes to drafting. We don't know yet if it's already been exposed that Punished, now Funny, can only play carry champions. But I think it's a step in the direction we do have to ask that question coming into his next set.
It certainly is, and I feel like that's a question we need to expand to LGD as a whole. Their pick and ban in game number 1 was pretty touch and go. In game number 2, they were able to clean it up, and then in game number 3, they kind of went to comfort.
And this is what I actually want to expand on as well, right? First rotation for LGD, they lock in Elise and Fiora. And, you know, that's fine. Like, you have a great time being Elise and Fiora. You've acknowledged that you're going to split push and you've got to pick champion.
Ah, here we go. Yeah.
And then they just pick nothing
Yeah.
that complements Elise and Fiora. Like, absolutely nothing. They picked a Cogmore.
Yeah.
Like, what does that do with it?
You scratch your brain on that. And that's what the entire time in the back, I was like, I mean, there had to be a reasoning behind it, especially the cog mine. For me, it was like, I think they're just trying to win lane. The misfortune in the bottom lane and the Kog'Maw kind of does well into the Jhin, or at least in terms of trading and pushing in the sense. But there's no way you look at that bottom lane, you're like, that's complementing your strategy overall.
But
there's
I think
nothing about that.
Even in that sense, we saw the supports roaming from minute 4, minute 5, so it really was a 1v1 in that bottom lane.
Yeah, and again, I think this comes back to the pressure Athena was placing down because Tahm Kench constantly mid lane roam, constantly roaming constantly to that middle lane, and it just felt like PYL's attempt to match him was actually hurting their 2v2. They could have pressured Jin Zhao harder and maybe got the turret earlier, forced Road to come back to lane instead of letting him free farm perhaps in the middle lane.
Yeah.
And they just didn't really play with a clear-cut strategy, I would say.
Yeah, and I look at IMA right now, and 2 wins already on the back of their shoulders. I think this is a fantastic way to play, or at least fantastic way they're playing in their group. They still have IG, they still have Snake here, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, my God, they're moving so much, and so far against RNG and against LGD, it seems like teams are trying to catch up to them in terms of when they're running around the map, right? It seems like they can't get a hold of their laners because they don't care about laning. So it feels like they understand how to roam in the laning phase very well. And so looking on to the next set for me, I'm interested in if these 2 beasts in Snake and IG can actually do just that.
And the thing that I really want to highlight about this as well is that you're saying good teams that could actually take it to IMA. LGD are a good team, but they don't play in the same way that these other 2 do.
Yeah.
As we do have our MVP.
Yeah, that's going to be Amazing J. 3, 0, and 10. 72% kill participation and 25% of his team's damage on a tank.
What do you think, Rusty?
Yeah.
That's not Athena.
That's not Athena.
That's not Athena.
I swear I saw a rise on that, and then it wasn't. It was a Maokai.
I mean, I envisioned a rise, so I'm just going to say it's a rise. That's exactly what it is.
But again, Amazing J still playing very well despite the fact that he did have a little bit of a rough start. Even with Amy pressuring it, he was still able to come up big on that Maokai.
That's the thing. He understood what situation he's being put into. You know, you have an Elise, you have a Fiora. They're coming for you. They want you, and that's their game plan. And so he recognized that. He played back. He used his flash when he needed to. And the moment he recognized that he had a member and a friend on his side named Athena on Rise, that he was able to get that top lane massively. There was even a situation, by the way, this is hilarious, when he TP'd behind the mid lane second tier.
Yeah,
and it's like, I guess I just found a Kog'Maw here, and Athena's like, I'm with you on that. So Athena played
flipped
fantastic.
a coin. They're like heads or tails, and it went tails, so they went to the Cogmore instead of mid lane. Laner ults in. And that was one thing we didn't actually fully hit. Their team composition had a Tahm Kench Rise as well, so they're able to rotate around the map. If you give that an advantage in any way, shape, or form, they're just constantly moving and pressuring every single place at once.
And I mean, we're talking about LGD and their creativity, or at least in Wayless's champion pool and what he likes to go into the map with. IMA's creativity when they're on the map and where to move was fantastic. Like, they were looking to just rush that Baron just off that wall because, of course, they had the ulti on Rise, and they have Tom Kench as well. They can do anything they want, and so they recognize the possibilities of getting past certain vision. And they've been doing that so well in this week right now in their 2 sets.
Yeah, they certainly have. The big thing that I'm looking forward to them in the future is their pick ban phase. Even coming into Game 3, they came out with such a strong composition that follows their play style so smoothly with how they roam, with how they play around vision.
Yeah, and we've been saying this a lot, right? We're coming into a 10-ban system where the challenge is actually for coaches to step up and firstly recognize how their team plays, how they like to win the game. So in this case, IMA, they very much like to be a team fighting style team. They're very good with communication. They work hard and they work all the time. So they will learn the new meta very quickly. LGD, I don't know if they play the same way.
Yeah.
And so they might not learn as quickly. It'll be harder, firstly, to draft for them. But secondly, we do have to look towards their coach and say, I'm not sure that was the draft that they needed in Game 3. Because 4 carries, 5 carries, just doesn't really cut it.
Yeah, that's not Mara in the top side. That is funny. And I think that's something that when I was looking to Funny, I was like, you know, I thought this was going to be a great addition to the top lane simply because it was like, you know what? You don't need another carry. You need a tank on the top side of the map who can actually allow you to team fight. Because you know what looks fantastic is Wayless and Imp with pressure team fighting. If they have a front line moving forward, they have space to work with. But it looks like they keep putting themselves in an impossible position. So this is just their first set, and it was against IMA as well. So maybe in the oncoming games we can see something different from him.
It certainly could be. It might just be that we're getting like a handicap style. Hey, we want to start off slow and then move forward. But speaking of moving forward, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Coming up next, we've got IG taking on Snake. Don't go anywhere.